everything. It's Mr. Garrett Wilson of the New York Jets. Finished as a wide receiver 26 last year, but you probably would too if you had Zach Wilson as your quarterback. Steve, what says you on Garrett Wilson here? Hopefully we get a full year with Mr. Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, just like I'm a Jets homer. I think Pete's might be a little bit of a Eagles homer as well. He's the Phillies fan, lives South Jersey a little bit. That's why he likes the Eagles offense, even though they finished like a complete shit show down the stretch last year. But anyway, Garrett Wilson, man. I mean, we all know the talent. We all know the potential explosiveness. I was taking him end of the first round last year. He's kind of going in the same spot once again. So I'm going right back to the well. We need Aaron Rodgers to stay healthy, of course. If Tyrod Taylor steps in, it's not the worst thing in the world. But I just feel like with a full season with A-Rod and Garrett Wilson, and you see them kind of getting heated in camp, which I only think is going to help them, get their communication down, get all this shit out of the way now so they can get on total page during the season. And we've seen Aaron Rodgers with Devontae Adams put Devontae Adams near the top, top three receivers. So the talent is with Garrett Wilson. I mean, there's no denying that. He's got the quarterback. So, I mean, if these two stay healthy all year, I could see Garrett Wilson top 5. I have him as my number 3. Maybe it's a little bold, but I just think it could be an absolute explosion for Garrett Wilson this year with Aaron Rodgers, those back shoulder throws, getting those patented down, Garrett Wilson after the catch. So, yeah, it's all there, man. There's really, Mike Williams is another presence there. I like Mike Williams, but he can never stay healthy. He's going to possibly could start the year on the pup. So there's really nobody else outside of those 3 guys. I like Corley a little bit, but it's Garrett Wilson. He's the true alpha there. He's going to get force fed. He's going to get a ton of targets. So, that's why I got him so high.
Anthony, what says you?
So I'm equally as high on Garrett Wilson. I have him as my wide receiver 7. I think last year I had him as my 5 or 7, and I'm not going to back off just because we had that Aaron Rodgers injury. When we look at Garrett Wilson, he is primed to be one of the bigger positive regression candidates across the board, and it all depends on the health of Aaron Rodgers. Look at the volume that Wilson has had last year. 168 targets, 30.1% target share, and I'm not scared off by Mike Williams or anybody else in that wide receiver room to eat into that. So what was the issue with Garrett Wilson? Why did he only crack 1,042 receiving yards and 3 touchdowns? Well, catchable target rate, he was 65th. So only 114 of his targets were catchable, 67.9%. Target quality rating of 5.03. That's ranks 48th amongst wide receivers. You got to remember, there were some games that Garrett Wilson looked like he had 3 guys draped over him, and he was still making plays. If we get this healthy Aaron Rodgers, and there's a chance it happens, the Jets added 3 new offensive lineman starters, all veteran. Is it safe to say that Aaron Rodgers could break I would say top 7, top 5? Is Garrett Wilson just as talented, if not maybe better than Devontae Adams? If your answer to that is yes, then go back and look at the Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams seasons they had in Green Bay and say, why can't that happen for Garrett Wilson on that type of a target share? So I'm all in here. And there's also what's different this year. There's an extra layer of security when you're drafting Garrett Wilson, and his name is Tyrod Taylor. Tyrod Taylor, it's not going to give you Aaron Rodgers numbers, but Tyrod Taylor is a massive upgrade over the entire Jets quarterback room in each of the past 2 seasons since Garrett Wilson has been there. So if we do see Tyrod Taylor, I don't think Garrett Wilson will bust as bad as he did in his past 2 years. He gets too much volume in this offense.
All right. By the way, arguably too, Tyrod Taylor is the best backup quarterback out of all the wide receivers we've talked about. he's probably the best backup quarterback to their starting quarterback. So if anybody can sustain being still fantasy relevant out of the guys you've talked about with an injury to the quarterback position, which there was a lot last year, it's probably Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, he had 2 games with Tim Boyle and 4 with Trevor Siemian, and the rest with Zach Wilson. So,
and you're telling me he wasn't good last year in fantasy?
That's crazy. Wasn't the best. All right, so we'll get on to our next player. We're going to keep